Hello, everyone. We welcome you to this edition of News You Can Use. I'm your host, Thera Martin Milling, and we've got a great program today. We are dedicating the whole show to having a wonderful conversation with Bishop Mary Floyd Palmer. She is the chairwoman of the board of directors of the Women's Christian Alliance, and certainly in our first segment, we will share that story and how important that organization is and what it is that they do. When we turn the page and come back in the second portion of our program, we'll be talking again with Bishop Mary Floyd Palmer, and we'll find out about the church that she has founded in the heart of North Philadelphia and some of the other work she does, from being a Philadelphia police officer to being a motivational speaker and being a pastor and then a bishop. She has a story to tell. We'll be back to get it started in just a moment. Hello, everyone. We welcome you once again to this edition of News You Can Use. Now, as we're taping this program, it is African American History Month of 2015. But, you know, with the wonders of cable television, sometimes you may see shows pop up here and there throughout the year. So we hope that you will enjoy. Joining me right now, we got Bishop Mary Floyd Palmer. Hello.
Hello.
How are you? So good
you.
to see you. So good to see you. From the day I first met you, I've been blessed. Blessed to know you, and you're such an awesome person. You're an awesome speaker. I have seen you get down and talk to young people and get their attention to where you can hear a pin drop in the room. So I know you know how to communicate. You're the great communicator.
Yes, I get that from my daddy.
Yes,
actually.
yes. Well, there's so much I want to talk to you about, but in this first segment, I really want to honor an organization where you find yourself as the chairwoman of the board of directors, the Women's Christian Alliance, based in the heart of North Philadelphia on Cecil B. Moore Avenue, a beautiful building, and a long, strong, rich history. Women started this group.
Absolutely. It was founded in 1919 by our founder, Dr. Melissa Thompson Coppin, who happened to be a bishop's wife of the First Episcopal District of the African Methodist Episcopal Division. And since this was the birthplace of Richard Allen in the AME Church, her husband, Bishop Levi Coppin, was serving as the bishop at that time, where she was, again, the superintendent overseeing all of the churches that were under their purview. As well as being not just the bishop's wife, she also had a career as a medical doctor. She graduated from the former Medical College of Pennsylvania. That's right, Women's Medical. Many of us know it. I was born there. My mama worked there, so did my grandma. So we have a long history with that. She became the first African American medical doctor in the state of Pennsylvania and one of 10 in the nation. And as she began to correlate between taking care of women and children and her ministry to the church world, she got a couple of women missionaries together, and they decided to try and help women in transition, particularly those that were coming from the South or those who lost their husbands during war or times of depression, and trying to stabilize the home. You know, not all women adjust quickly to life changes. And so she decided to take her skill and provide medical help, but also on the back end do some ministry and stabilizing those homes and making sure that those children get all that they could. So she founded the Women's Christian Alliance. It became chartered in 1929, and then we were able to become a 501c3 not-for-profit agency in which we're able to service citywide anyone and everyone who is in need of those kinds of stabilization services in the community that will help the family to be whole.
Well, now, in my head, I'm thinking whether it's 1929 or the year 2014, 2015, it takes money to make things happen. So at the beginning of this piece, the Women's Christian Alliance, they put, what, the church money together?
They certainly did. Each one of the missionary women contributed their little bit of money. Of course, Dr. Coppin was one who was receiving somewhat of a salary because she was a medical doctor. I'm certain that probably the doctors today would laugh at what she was making then. But she decided to take that money and invest it. and to do so in a way that would be able to put back and invest into the community. And they were able to stabilize it. She purchased a location. She was able to make it a place. They had a home for boys. They had a home for girls. They also had congregate care. And historically, they decided that they wanted to make sure that children, particularly our Black babies and boys and girls, had a home to go to. Some of them were products of not stabilized homes. Some of them were products of parents who were sent to jail. Some of them were products of tragedy. And she wanted to make sure that the African American children were provided for. So she began a foster care and an adoption agency. And we are the oldest African American foster care and adoption agency in the world, and proud to be housed in North Central Philadelphia.
Now this beautiful building that sits on the corner of
18th,
18th
and Cecil B. Moore.
18th and Cecil B. Moore. That, of course, wasn't the original building because it looks brand new. It looks brand new. It's two modern times. But have you all always been in the North Philadelphia area with the Women's Christian Alliance?
We began in South Philadelphia historically, and probably after a few years, we migrated to Sport in Oxford, which most folks in Philadelphia are familiar with. We had a building that was one that we purchased, one that we ran our programs from. I myself had my grandmother who took me down there to volunteer over the summers, and it's ironic that things come full circle and you come back.
Isn't that something?
Beyond some things beyond our control, as you can just imagine, we needed to relocate from Broad and Oxford to 18th and Cecil B. Moore. And the city was doing some change in the Face and Broad Street North, so we ended up moving to a new location, got a brand new building, and even though we're 14 years old on that site, we wanted to still be in the heart of North Central Philadelphia. And so by being there, we're accessible by public transportation. We're just a few blocks from Temple, easy to find. We have a fabulous program on site, and we just are grateful that we didn't become off-skirts from our last location so that we can still be pivotal and visible in the community.
Bishop Mary Floyd Palmer is our guest right now, and she is the chairwoman of the Board of Directors for the Women's Christian Alliance. I know one of the recent programs I had you on radio, in fact, and I introduced you as the executive director and all of that. But
Board chair and CEO.
You do work. You're not just somebody who shows up at a meeting quarterly or 6 times a year or even 12 times a year, once a month, come to a board meeting. You roll up the sleeves, you get behind the desk, you're on the phone, you're working to see that things are operating smoothly.
The reason is that, as with all nonprofit agencies, particularly in the climate today, funding and supports are necessary. Our primary source of funding through the city of Philadelphia, there have been some changes, and particularly in the area of foster care and case management. That's all we've known to do, what we have been proud to be able to do. But as we're changing the times, you then have to reinvent and rebirth yourself. And so we began to look at different programs that we can still be a support to that, even though DHS has now gone to the community umbrella agency model. And in doing so, they have outcomes for our children that help in a pivotal community agency to be sort of like a one-stop shop. And from that, the folks don't have to travel too far out of the community to receive holistic services. So because we were not able to be selected for the community umbrella agency in the North Central area, we have partnered with NET, who is the assigned CUA, and that's what it's called, Northeast Treatment Center, in which we're able to support them while they handle the case management of the cases. With that being said, naturally funding does change. And so we have lost several $1 million of funding, and that has put some fiscal restraints on us. And of course, through transition in times and directors and other things that affect an inner working relationship of an agency, I still feel as though, because of our historical legacy as well as the prominence that we have in the community, this is an agency that should not close its doors.
Right. No.
So daily,
Hold on.
while I am the board chair, I also serve as the CEO, having the oversight of operations. Our deputy director, Cherise Sargent, is the one who conducts and handles all the operations of the agency day to day. And my role is to oversee that and then to try and externally gain support and momentum of support to Women's Christian Alliance. So yes, I'm on the phone. I'm in the office at least a minimum of 25, 30 hours a day. I'm not receiving a salary because I do it by being a passion for knowing that this is a necessity. I don't want another African American organization to become history.
Right.
I want it to
Past
remain historical
Yes.
and continue to add to its legacy.
Absolutely. This sounds so good in terms of the work that has been done, the work that you're doing, and work that we know yet has to be done, but you have to have support from the community to keep things going. So anniversary time is this month of March.
Actually, March.
It's March.
Yes,
Woo!
yes,
Okay.
yes.
And tell us real quick, what are you all doing? Can people get tickets? How can they support?
Absolutely. We are celebrating 95 years. I did not want that significant year to go by without being recognized. So we decided, because of the weather naturally in February, it was prudent for us to push it to March. On March the 26th, we will be having our 95th anniversary reception. What we have decided to do, following our president, is to allow the community to partake of it either. We're not doing a banquet, we're not selling tickets, we're actually asking everyone to come with a donation from $1 or more. Now, of course, that allows mom and pop and everyone to be able to come in and celebrate something they may have been a part of or received help from. However, we are asking those that can and able to at least give a $25 minimum, so they will be able to receive a complimentary drink or beverage or appetizer, because we're going to keep it light, keep it even on the low budget. But we're looking forward to a fundraiser where individuals can contribute $95 to $295 to $500, and then our corporate sponsorships will start at $1,000 to $5,000. Of course, we're looking for any and all. We give you a tax write-off. We're happy to be able to receive your monies, and the goal of that, for whatever we raise, is to begin and start an endowment. From starting an endowment, we now want to be able to have one project that we compare and take care of to help sustain the agency, and then begin an endowment, because some of our colleagues, all of them do. And we can continue to operate without having a nest egg to fall on, while at the same time beginning to look at other programs, gain other resources, and diversify our income so that we can continue to service our community.
Just give me the phone number. We're going to take a break and we'll come back.
Sure. It's 215-236-9911. 215-236-9911. My extension is 1313, and you can always leave a message.
All right, now we're talking with Bishop Mary Floyd Palmer. We're so glad to have her with us on this edition of News You Can Use. We're celebrating the Women's Christian Alliance. In March, they're having a wonderful reception event / fundraiser, and we'll tell you about it again when we come back. Stay with us.
Have you ever
Had someone repeatedly put their hands on you even though you were saying no?
been threatened into an unwanted sexual activity? Each year, there are almost 300,000 victims of sexual assault,
Unwanted touching,
attempted rape, and committed rape
and even receiving sexually threatening messages.
are all forms of sexual assault. Anyone can be a victim
No matter the age, gender, or ethnicity, take a stand.
against sexual assault.
Cyberbullying comes in many forms and can happen 24/7. If you or someone you know is a victim of cyberbullying, take preventative and assertive action. Keep evidence and document all instances. Remember to record dates, times, descriptions, and also save and print screenshots. Block your cyberbully and present your evidence to school officials or law enforcement. No one deserves to be a victim of cyberbullying, and together we can end it. For more information, visit stopbullying.com.
Hi, I'm Thera Martin Milling, host of News You Can Use.
Hello, I'm Fire Commissioner Derek Sawyer. I'm your host of Freedom from Fire.
Hi, I'm your host, Todd Johnson, of a program called Bridging the Gap.
Join our hosts and their amazing guests only on LaSalle TV. Tune in to Comcast Channel 56 and Verizon Fios Channel 36 to check out LaSalle TV. You can get more LaSalle TV on social media, like LaSalle TV on Facebook, and follow us on Twitter at LaSalle TV Philly.
Check us out.
Bye for now.
I didn't think this could happen to me.
I just wanted to feel pretty.
I just put my drink down for a second.
I didn't want to hurt her. I didn't want to fight back.
We're back now as we continue with this edition of News You Can Use. I'm your host, Thera Martin Milling. Glad to be with you today. It's not all of the time that we will take a show and the whole 30 minutes or the 27 minutes of the show to spotlight one issue or one person or a particular subject. But I really felt that we were long overdue this with Bishop Mary Floyd Palmer. And she's been with us before on our program about a year and a half or so ago. And it was wonderful to have her then. But this time, it's all about what you're doing and what you're working on. In our first segment, for those of you who missed it, we put the spotlight on Women's Christian Alliance, which is based at 18th and Cecil B. Moore Avenue in North Philadelphia. It was officially started in 1929?
In 1919.
1919, but you got, what's the
Chartered
word?
in
Chartered in
1929.
1929.
Yes.
So they've been around for a long time doing great work, children and family services. I want to wrap up on them, but before we do, let's just talk about the event in March again, the date, the time, and the purpose of it.
We're celebrating our 95th anniversary, and we are doing that by having an anniversary reception on March the 26th from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. We are actually being proposed with having some off-site locations, but worst case scenario, we'll have it right there at WCA,
Yep.
and we would love for you all to attend. You can get information from our website on womenschristianalliance.org. Again, womenschristianalliance.org, where we'll have updates for our upcoming anniversary month. We're taking the entire month of March, which is Women's Month, to highlight some important issues to women.
Yes.
We plan on celebrating some female pastors with a luncheon. We're doing an octogenarian luncheon for those 80 and older. We're also having a panel discussion, and then we're going to culminate with our anniversary celebration. To kick it all off, this Thursday, February the 19th, we will be at New Jerusalem Baptist Church having an evening of reflection from 6 to 7:30. And all it is music, dance, and word. It's going to be the fastest 1.5 hour fun service you've ever seen, featuring our youngest children on Black History Month, all the way up to getting encouraged with an inspirational word. And so I'll be happy to receive you. It's a free event. We would love for you to come. And certainly at the end, we'll be probably receiving a free will offering that we hope folks will feel inclined to give to.
New Jerusalem, where is that?
2118 West Diamond Street.
Okay.
It's at Van
Yes.
Pelt and Diamond, just up the street from us. Pastor Elvis Turner was kind enough to offer that location for us as a way of supporting Women's Christian Alliance.
Fantastic,
Yes.
fantastic. All right, well, we're excited again about Women's Christian Alliance, the work you're doing there, the commitment that you have, not only to be the chair of the board, but to act as a day-to-day person to keep operations going smoothly and to do that on a volunteer effort is really, really, really a major sacrifice that you're making. But I know you love it.
Yes.
Yeah, got a lot of history there, too. Going back to grandmom, you said?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
And she told me that if we can't support ourselves, nobody else will. So I think it's time now that our communities, instead of in-house fighting, we would unify and then support each other. It's not about who's in charge. It's about us becoming holistic as a community and being able to survive even the challenges and still yet thrive.
I heard that. We've got Bishop Mary Floyd Palmer with us, and story is you used to be a Philadelphia police officer at one point in your life, at one point in your career. You did that. Detective, or you were out on the street every day. You were arresting people and trying to keep people out of trouble. Who sometimes just couldn't be saved.
It could not.
And what made you decide one day, okay, enough of the Philadelphia Police Department, I'm getting ready to go and do some other things?
Well, I think that probably my background would tell me that I followed the footsteps of my father, Reverend Dr. Melvin Floyd, who came from the Vietnam War, the Korean War, I'm sorry, not Vietnam, the Korean War, and came into the police department. And ironically, being the oldest daughter, I kind of followed his footsteps. He groomed me in his office with nonprofit ministry, and I was able to assist there. And then at a pivotal point in my life, I just took the test kind of as something to do, and I did well. While I was working at the University of Pennsylvania, migrated into that, was in a career, but I think my calling always was being able to do ministry, which is my first hat. So I left there. I went into corporate America to do some motivational speaking. I was assisting in the Welfare to Work program for a period of time. I served as an executive assistant to several CEOs. I had such a wonderful time, but you know, when you can do a job, but then there's no passion, it just becomes mundane. And although I was in Center City, across from, 16th, and you can go into Liberty 1 and Liberty 2, and you could have these funds, there was something that was lacking. And although my church ministry was always very pivotal and prominent, because my father, we left our church in South Philadelphia, he started his own church ministry, and I was pivotal in being his minister of music, his right hand, and assisting and following, it just fell on me. And I think it all came from my great-grandmother, who told me that one day, at the age of 8, she said to me, you will be a preacher, and you will be high in the Lord's church. And I kind of chuckled. I said, no, not me. They don't let women do that. Ironically, today, if she was living, she would probably say, I said it, and it came to be. So that's why I'm passionate about things I care about. Not that I don't need money to survive, please. Not that I don't mind preaching and earning, or that I don't mind being able to help somebody along this way, but I definitely want to do something that's going to be impactful to people that will help to change their lives. I continue to do so by teaching a class in the prison at SEI Chester on a weekly basis. I do so by going to the halfway houses. I do so by doing nursing homes. And I even do so by founding a new church ministry in North Philadelphia.
And tell us about the church ministry in North Philly, because I had the opportunity to come out and be there when you were doing an installation of one of your ministers. And the minister's husband, her husband, was installed as a deacon, and it was such a wonderful service and so spirit-filled, and everybody was so nice and so warm.
Yes, the Samaritan Temple. Yes. The Lord gave me the vision of having an unusual church ministry. I've been in formalized church, business, building, roles, offices, all of my life. But what the Lord dropped on me was that there are so many people who won't come in, and you have to have a place where if they do, they're okay. So our doors are open to any and all. I feel like I'm a 501c3 non-sectarian organization. It doesn't matter about your color, your creed, your race, your gender, your sexual orientation. God made you, and he loves you. And once we get that message across to you and that you accept Jesus Christ, then your life can be transformed. So at the Samaritan Temple, if you understand the story of the Good Samaritan, he helped somebody in need. He got them to a place of safety, made sure they were okay, and went on their way. That's all that we are at the Samaritan Temple. We have folks that come in, some pass through, some are there for a moment, some will be for the lifetime. But what our goal is to restore them to wholeness, and then to see that what they were supposed to be, God gets the glory. And however long that takes, we're patient enough to do it. I serve well with a wonderful assistant pastor, Reverend Dr. Don Thompson, who is formidable in his own right. I have 3 wonderful seasoned elders now who are assisting me in that ministry along with my deacon, and we are the foundation. And even though it may sometimes be a revolving door, we're not hung up on membership as we are on fellowship. We're about discipleship, restoration, reconciliation, so that they can have the abundant life. Now understand, the abundant life doesn't mean a lot of money or gold cars or big houses, but the abundant life of love, joy, and peace, being accepting of yourself, realizing that you value to God. Every day he wakes you up, so nothing or nobody should ever take away your sense of importance. And that's all we do in a very unique way. We keep it lively, we keep it fun, we keep it energized, we have a great time, but we also want them to understand that there's only one way to salvation and wholeness, and that's through Jesus Christ.
All right, now if people want to be in touch with you, Bishop, to have you come out, because you do still do motivational speaking.
Absolutely.
Or to come to their church, or to know more about your church, so they can come and have service with you, and you do things on Wednesday night, Bible study Wednesday night. All
Wednesday nights we're at Young Scholars Douglas School at 22nd and Norris. We're there from 6:30 to 8, where we have our teaching moment, our teaching time, and we're doing the book of Proverbs right now. And so we open it to one and all. Secondly, on Sundays, we're in Rowan Homes in the community room, right there on Judson Street, down the street from the Honickman. And we're inside of the building facility where we are able to support the residents as well. And if anyone would want me to come and speak about any particular topic from A to Z, knowing that my daddy did over 385 seminars, I could probably do it too, since I taped them all. And I got them all up here. And make it apropos from 8 to 80, from babies to the grave, and be able to do motivational speaking. Not only that, but even preaching for special services, or just on a Sunday morning when you want to hear a word from the Lord from a crazy preacher. I can always be reached at bishopmary.com and or directly to my cell, which is also on my site, as well as Women's Christian Alliance, and I'll be happy to be responsive. And if my schedule is free, all it takes is a phone call. I'm just that simple.
We thank you so much for sharing yourself with all of us
Absolutely.
and with our community, and keep up the great work. And we want to keep in touch with you, particularly about Women's Christian Alliance and your church. God bless.
You.
All right.
Have a great day.
That wraps it up for this edition of News You Can Use. I'm your host, Theora Martin Milling, and we just appreciate another opportunity to come into your home here on LaSalle TV, channel 56, and also for Verizon Fios, channel 36. And if you happen to be someone who enjoys some radio, you can check out 900 AM WURD. I am back there now doing a show, 6 to 7 a.m., Mondays through Fridays, 6 to 7 a.m. It is the early bird show called Daybreak on Word. We're having fun with it. We take calls and all that good stuff. So have a great day, everyone, and keep your dial where it is with LaSalle TV.